What is one thing you admire about each other?
Hi everyone, this is Pratibha. Hi.
Honest truths about founder moments.
Okay.
8 years is a long time, getting 1,000 new ideas. If they're not useful to solve the problem, you're terrible ideas.
There's a lot of heroism that they can get out of that. We had started the pilot thinking just of the pilot.
As a it will merge with your personal life.
I think everybody tried. No, I did not try.
It's very early days that I'm learning how to ride a bike, and now I'm balancing this 6-foot man with a suitcase. Hi, welcome everyone. So I'm going to ask these two guys some questions, and we'll see what.
All three of us will answer.
What is the one moment from field that you will never forget, even in 20 years?
Ooh.
It's been so long that I've gone on field.
Honest truths about founder moments, guys.
Okay.
I think I have very clear answer. The Kritika wala story, I think for me that is the highlight. So there was one student leader who did not come to school because she was not well. And suddenly, when our program was about to start at about 2 p.m., she comes to the school and we're like, why are you here? Because you were not well, your friends told. And she told that, अगर मैं नहीं आऊँगी तो बच्चों को कौन पढ़ाएगा? Who else will teach these students? I think that has been my highlight moment, and that is one of the reason also I say कि हाँ, has pushed me to say कि हाँ, अब इसको बड़ा बनाना है. I think that story stays with me a lot.
For me, I think the most memorable is the pilot itself, like Delhi pilot. Fourth grade kid comes, we already had a logo, but he sketches the logo of Involve towards the final day, or like the last week of Involve, and comes and says that I've never sat in the classroom so far in any of the things. But this was one program where I loved it, I enjoyed that. And Akka was there. I think Kashish or Dev, one of the teachers, and they were like कि मजा आ गया. तो मुझे मतलब पहली बार मुझे लगा कि मैं पढ़ना चाहता हूँ. और बहुत बदमाश पढ़ता था मतलब फर्स्ट वीक he would just not sit and he would make a lot of like sort of challenges. So I think that was there. So yeah, I think that has stayed with me.
Alright, what was the biggest leap of faith you took without knowing the outcome?
Starting Involve.
I think starting Involve, joining Involve were all big leaps of faith we all took.
I think, but I also remember that discussion. I think with Divanshu, I was at home. I think छुट्टी चला था पता नहीं क्या था. Divanshu and Avnish at that time came to Patna.
Oh, after the pilot.
After the pilot, and in our third, I don't know, second, third.
After the pilot, yeah.
And I remember going to our chachi's house, and he was discussing कि आगे क्या करना है.
Yes,
करना है नहीं करना है.
Because we had started the pilot thinking just of the pilot
as a project.
Project internship project करना था. But after that, we got some good outcome. Dainik Jagran and Indian Express wrote about us. A couple of like good educationists talk about that this is a great model that you guys have built. So then we started thinking that could be something long term.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I think that discussion I remember और सीढ़ी में भी बातचीत कर रहे थे कि अगर आगे लग जाएंगे तो ये challenges आएंगे, प्लेसमेंट में नहीं बैठेंगे, IT से लोग जाते हैं अच्छे जगह प्लेसमेंट. I think that entire bit was a decision that I think we took.
I think additional to that, just another like sort of specific moment. I think for me, meeting Santosh Bhai and Khushbu Di in their apartment in Bangalore, that was one of the also defining moments because they were very sort of clear that you have to register an organization and then it will function. You cannot continue as a college project, then the seriousness will not come. So the whole thought of sort of that aspect came from there.
I think for me it was after Divanshu asked me to pick him up from the metro station the first time that we have ever met. And he just doesn't come alone or something. He has a suitcase. And
and we meet in McDonald's.
Very early days that I'm learning how to ride a bike, and now I'm balancing this 6-foot man with a suitcase on the roads of Bombay, Jogeshwari, driving to a McDonald's and then him pitching what involved.
And I was hungry. I told that I have not had lunch, so we'll do a lunch meeting.
And it was just the funniest meeting. And after that meeting, me agreeing to say I will join this organization, I think was my leap of faith, which has.
That's it.
Yes.
Run Vijay salute. Rodi salute.
Okay, next thing. What is one thing you admire about each other?
You have to
I
answer
can
that.
say about myself also. अपना तारीफ करना allowed है कि पता नहीं. I can say I think
quick, बता सुनेंगे.
for Divanshu I think extremely hardworking. I don't know कहाँ से इतना energy आता है. He doesn't sleep, he doesn't eat, still functions at the same energy, and his brain operates at very high level. I don't know. I think तो बोलते हैं कि हाँ फाउंडर्स लिव एंड एवरीथिंग. आई थिंक मेरे अंदर तो बहुत एनर्जी कभी कभी चला जाता है, नींद नहीं आता, खाना नहीं होता, मेरे से इतना फंक्शन होता नहीं है. But I don't know how he has been able to operate. He travels, I don't know, 20-25 days a week.
A month, right?
A month, sorry. A month. And that too, I think 3 days, 4 cities, 5 cities, something like that. So it is just crazy. And that energy, I think that is why people sort of get attracted to him. Pratibha, I think just her aura and clarity about things. I think she breaks down things very clearly. She's very empathetic yet also very ambitious. So that is something that is very admiring for me. कि कहीं पे बोलते हैं हाँ ठीक है इसको आराम से लग जाते हैं, बट कहीं कहीं पे she will be like यार ये भी कर देंगे वो भी कर देंगे सब कुछ ही कर देंगे, तो कभी कभी डर भी लगता है कि कैसे करेंगे ये सब. But I think that entire balancing is just very interesting.
Yeah. For me, for Samyak, I think the way he builds relationships with people is so natural. कि उसमें कोई there's never an agenda, there's never a feeling of even a transaction. Like we constantly talk about how relationships should not be transactional. We should not. वो ज्ञान देना पड़ता है लोगों को. But with him, it's just always natural. Like there's never been a time where I've seen him ever operate in even some of the most difficult funder relationships. He's never operated transactionally. I think that is such a beautiful thing because it takes a lot of mind space and effort to be able to believe and operate like that all the time. So I really admire that. Next question is, what was one thing the team has taught you as founders? Hard to find just one actually.
No.
Yeah, multiple things. But for me, I think the biggest thing that the team has taught is to trust the judgment of the team as well. Like, especially when I started in the beginning, a lot of it was like, I will think and the team will execute, and that is how we will run with that. But over a period of time, like team really taught me that if you're able to bring in good people, then they bring in a lot of insights which will be sort of counter and which will be helpful for your blind spots that are there. So you essentially, if you trust them, if you've brought in the right people, the synergy will be really good, and that's something that was there. Second was, I think.
One thing.
Sorry. Continue. Yeah.
I think one thing that the team has taught me is it's easy, especially in the kind of role that I do, it's easy to go to that 30,000 feet level and start ideating, start thinking, start knowing what's possible. But to constantly also stay in touch with reality and what's actually happening in the pulse of the classroom, pulse of the students and everything. And I think team calling out on that very regularly, ki you don't know actually what's going on in the classroom. Before you make these grand plans, come and see what's going on. I think that reminder to constantly ask the right questions, actually look at what is going on rather than just being all over the place with ideas, because there can be 1,000 good ideas, but if they're not useful to solve the problem, they're terrible ideas.
I think for me I have a very interesting answer. I think they have taught me that I deserve to be a co-founder. I think there are a lot of times when you go into doubt more that do I even deserve this? Am I doing enough? And like the team, I see team doing a lot of things. So I think they've always told me that the value that I am bringing and all of that, I think that has been the most precious thing, that they have always uplifted me. All of them, including both of them, that no, I think what you have done and what you are doing deserves to be recognized and known as co-founder. I think that itself is a huge gift. I think the entire confidence on that has been incredible.
So this is a difficult one.
What was one dilemma where the heart and the data told you two different things?
Interesting. I remember one instance जहाँ पे I think when we were talking to few students to understand how was their experience and everything, I think they told positive things that they've enjoyed and all of that. But that time we were using some tool to measure 21st century skills, and baseline और endline में actually difference आया, endline was lower apparently, and we were confused that what it is and everything. We realized that tools also was not very good. We did not do a very good job into measuring those data. I think this was 3-4 years back. जहाँ पे we knew from just when you observe the students and when you see that entire space, you know that something is happening, but data के through वो पता नहीं चल रहा था. I think that was one such space I can think of.
No, I have something. When we think about scale, a lot of data was saying that because when you're thinking about scale models for peer learning, we do not have our facilitator in every school.
Yeah.
A lot of it is self-governed and teacher-dependent, who is at the teacher POC. The data was telling us that one, students will not be that responsible when there is no sort of proper facilitator there, and two, teachers will also not really care about this self-sustaining collaborative classroom that is there. But the conviction was there that students, as like sort of teenagers or something, they crave for responsibility. So if delivered in the right way, they will sort of be accountable. And so we took still a call to try out the scale model, and it has worked out significantly well compared to what we had thought. So that initial data to make the decision versus our initial conviction, that was the mismatch that we saw.
I think recently in one of the meetings that I was, I don't know if this answers the question, but it was an interesting conversation where someone said ki you're talking of agency in a state like Bihar. And because there is a perception that data has created saying those states, UP, Bihar, or the entire belt, people seem to lack agency, or especially girls seem to lack agency, and that they don't have that ability or whatever. But we've seen it in every single one of our classrooms, and especially our girls in those classrooms, that they not just exhibit the ability to express agency, but they truly act on it when given that opportunity. And I think that's where, while the data paints a picture of these states as something, I think the heart inside the classroom says something very different, that there's a lot more agency and leadership inside those classrooms. It just needs to be unlocked. So I think that's one place where I've seen data and heart play out very differently.
Very cool.
Okay. So interesting question. What's one thing people should know before they choose to join the social sector?
I know the answer that you have in mind. That is not the answer.
पैसा नहीं है इसमें.
No, there is money. There is money. We have been able to raise good amount of money, and we are able to pay decently as well. I think for me, like a lot of people join social sector thinking that it is easy, it is laid back, and there's a lot of heroism that they can get out of that. Like you do something and then you'll be made heroes. These are all the, I think, wrong reasons to join the sector. And I think if these are any of these are the reasons that you are thinking, please do not join the sector. So these are like special considerations. Social sector actually requires a lot of grit, a lot of hard work, a lot of understanding about the context, because the context keeps on changing, like state to state that you work with, people to people that you work with. So I think you should be very, very conscious about being present and mindful about the work that you are doing. And that's something that you should definitely consider before joining the social sector.
Yeah. I think little bit I'm able to think from that is ki it will merge with your personal life. So there is that balance is not there because you are interacting with humans. So वो emotions, let's say if you're talking to a student, what they have said, we're talking to a family or anyone, I think it stays कि कभी-कभी कोई मिलेंगे आपको that they have not eaten food, they have come with very difficult sort of mornings or whatever. I think that stays with you, and because you're interacting with human and not machine, it is difficult to separate both.
You carry some emotional baggage there. Yeah.
That will always be there, and that I think it should be okay with having.
Yeah, I think the sector demands, like what both of them sort of alluded to also, is that it demands empathy and professionalism in equal measure.
Very important,
which in some sectors it's unequal, the ratio, and so you're able to get away with having just one of them.
Yeah.
But in this sector, it will demand both equally at all times. And that becomes a challenge for most of us to continually deal with. And I think people coming in operate with either one of those mindsets. Either they're very professional or they're very empathetic, and they expect it to also be treated that way, which creates a wrong expectation. So I think knowing that the sector is a 50-50 of both of these, and you are also going to be treated 50-50 of both of these, is important for anyone coming in.
A good proof of being articulate.
I was about to say the same thing. What an articulation.
क्या है एकदम बढ़िया भाई.
Leads us to our last and perhaps most difficult question. What is the toughest fight you have had as co-founders, and how did it change your relationship?
I think Samyak से तो बहुत
Many
toughest fight
fights.
मतलब multiple tough fights have happened.
I think me and Divanshu, for example, are very different personality also. I think for me, earlier I think his speed, aggression was something that I was not able to understand. And I'm like, यार इतना जल्दी से सब कुछ हो रहा है, how do you navigate all of that? And I think it has taken me almost 6 to 7 years to really understand him. Now I think I understand him better, but I think in the first 5-6 years I always used to think him as क्या चलो as he was saying कि वो idea देगा और हम लोग करेंगे. I used to think as that. I have never thought it as equals, and they were difficult thing. But I think now when I have also I think stepped up, and when multiple things have happened, organization have grown and all of that, I think now I have understood where he was coming from. I think he was just way ahead of his time.
I remember we have to answer the events. I'll answer 2 events actually. One just between me and Samyak. The conversation in West Mamlam House after COVID that we sat down. After I chose to also sort of work on Solenas,
Solenas,
and
okay.
that time I had not discussed with you very well. I just communicated that it's
yes.
something that I would do. So that was a very tough. It was not a fight, I would say, but a tough argument and a conversation that we had. Very long conversation, almost till the midnight and more than that, about how sort of the relationship is, what is the expectation that we should set, how do we should have a conversation, and so on. When we should sort of really put up our point versus when do we understand each other and just like let it be. So all of that was a very deeper conversation that we had, and I think that was after like 3-4 years of us starting. So that was one. Between the 3 of us together, I think it would be the on the rooftop of Ashwini's house. I think everybody cried that. No, I did not cry.
You make people cry.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, so that was. I think you can elaborate more on that.
Yeah, I don't think any of these are fights, but yeah, there are always difficult conversations in relationships that are so close and that require us working together to do something. All of us, I think one thing we're aligned on is purpose is clear. Now, whatever happens in between is the journey of it, but that's fine. I think 2 conversations that I clearly remember is one I had with Samyak when I just stepped in as co-founder in the organization, going through a very difficult phase in that transition, lot of things, lot of moving parts, uncertainties, and I think it was 6 hours
More than
almost
that.
or more that a conversation that happened for us to really say everything we felt about each other, about what worked, what didn't work, why it worked, everything. And I think as uneasy as some parts of that conversation were, it was also the reason why this dynamic exists today at all, if whatever exists. And the second one was what Divanshu was mentioning about how sometimes it becomes hard to hold each other accountable because we all are owners, we all believe in this very strongly, we all have purpose, and so it's never a question of intent. But there are also times where we fail to deliver, where we struggle, where we are going through something. But in that moment, when someone held me accountable in that moment, it felt personal, it felt deeply about my ability to do something. And I think that conversation then of course becomes difficult because as soon as you take it personally, everything changes.
Yeah.
So that was a difficult conversation, but I think will continue to happen. I don't think such conversations stop.
Now it is easier to do that. Earlier it
Now
was
it's easier to do. Yeah. I think it is. The conversation also brought us quite closure in the way that now we like. There's a comfort that we can have this difficult conversation, cry in front of each other, and it would be fine.
Just move on. Come back the next day and have breakfast and everything's fine.
But nobody's holding anything against each other in that way. So that thing has become very, very personal now and close to each other. Yeah.
I think these are a few tough conversations.
And these guys have longer conversations. I don't do that. There's 6 hours. Why कौन बात करेगा इतना? But ठीक है.
I say 8 hours. मेरे को लगा 8 घंटा हो गया होगा.
It was very long, guys.
No, yeah, 4 hours. So I only spoke. मतलब लगातार I was speaking.
Not me.
But yeah.
All right. I think for me, the message is that I truly value the relationship that we have built. It's crazy. Like when we started as students, we didn't have any understanding about the sector. We didn't have any relationships with like funders, with policymakers, with educators. Nothing. We started from ground zero.
College
like,
mein tabhi started.
college mein we started there. And today, if you see, we have built a great networks. Like impact on one side of what we're creating is absolutely like sort of something that I feel like deeply content and like satisfied with. But also the kind of relationship that we've built, the kind of people that we have met who have ended up trusting us, who have supported us. It's crazy. I could not have asked for more. And just the team also that we have built, like staying together for like 8 years now, 2016, 9 years actually.
9 years.
2016, 9 years. Pratibha coming on board, joining at a time when role did not exist, and then becoming a co-founder. Ashwini continuing since like even before we started the organization. Asha continuing, Anna sort of. All of these people who have stayed, crazy. Could not have asked for a better thing. So just deeply grateful to the relationships.
Yeah. I think to say anyone, I think just I want people to trust us as well. I think we will fail at multiple times, and because we are going to take some very weird decisions as an organization, we are sort of going to do that because we believe that agar wo nahi kiya, I think we will not be able to solve for certain things. So I think just trust us as well and maybe guide us at certain time when we are going away.
Yeah.
I think that will be very much required because I think as an organization we want to do a lot of things, a lot of ideas come. So also sort of holding us back, कि यार इतना सारा चीज मत करो, थोड़ा कम करो, would be. But I think that journey has been extremely satisfying, and like now, so I think we know everyone in the education sector is what we think, that anyone who we want to get connected to and all, and that I think building something like this in this much time was not something that I've ever imagined. I remember Divanshu ने 5 साल गोल रखा था कितने?
500 students.
500 students in 5 years, and now we are close to reaching about 1 million students, and so. But now I think अब वो भी लगता है कि इतना छोटा गोल है.
So we have to do
now it's I think the dream has just evolved so much. Crazy.
Everyone said everything. I don't want to repeat, but yeah, 8 years is a long time. It's a long journey to come, and it's a lot of people who have enabled that journey. Acknowledging every single one of you who has enabled this journey, who has brought us here so far. And I hope that we're standing at the cusp of something very, very exciting for education in India. And I hope that we're able to really change and bring what we believe is the vision into every classroom. And yeah, very excited about the next few years that are unfolding, because I think, yeah, it's interesting times that are coming because everyone is in and we are coming.
Bye.
Okay.